Selamat siang. Welcome back to my no-name channel. I'm Bruce, and this is another Bali COVID-19 update for May 23rd, 2021. And Lebaran is over. I hope you had a good trip. My house was like a zoo for a week. And let's take a look at the numbers. Low. Today, 50 new cases gives us 46,788 positives, 44,539 recovered, 1,472 deaths, and we are way under 1,000 active cases, 777. Now, like I've said before, this could be because of the holiday, but this could also be a really good sign. So let's hope. And everybody's Indonesian, all locals. And by Regency, Buleleng 14, Badung 13, Denpasar 9, Tabanan 5, Gianyar 5, Jembrana 2, Klungkung 1, and Bangli 1. And in order to curb possible clusters and surges, the police and other authorities are checking the passengers at the Gili Manuk and Padang Bai harbors. So everybody's active right now. So good news on the numbers. The Bali provincial government will begin providing free PCR tests. Dr. Kutchut Swarajaya, head of the Bali Health Agency, and I've talked about him many times, said that the program has been initiated in order to increase testing and tracing and reduce COVID-19 transmissions. The program is targeted for people who show symptoms of COVID-19, as well as people that have been in contact with someone who is tested positive, such as family members or co-workers. And he said that there is no limit to the number of people that can be tested. Bali residents and temporary residents, or those people from other islands who are on Bali, are welcome to get the test. He added the people that test positive will be immediately put into treatment and isolation in accordance with government procedures for handling COVID-19 patients. This program runs from 8 to 11 every morning at the health laboratory of the Bali provincial department in Denpasar, and people will need to show an ID in order to get tested. And talking about numbers, here's an interesting story coming from Buleleng. Data on COVID-19 in Buleleng always delivered accurately and transparently, according to the Bupati of Buleleng, who is also the head of the Buleleng COVID-19 task force. And he said that the data about handling the COVID-19 is always submitted accurately and transparently so that the right steps can be taken in dealing with the virus. Now, why is he talking about this? It may have something to do with a comment that the governor made the other day, that he thinks some people are fudging numbers so that they can get into the green zone. The Bupati said that nothing is engineered. And, well, if you've been following this channel, you know that Buleleng has been in and out of the red zone a number of times. And so he's assuring everybody that everything is on the up and up here. And so right now we are out of the red zone, as far as I know. But yeah, we go back and forth, as do a number of places. So everything is accurate and transparent here. Good news. And hopefully that's happening all over the island and all over the country. Okay, and what about vaccines and vaccinations? Well, there was a brief pause there for a few days during Lebaran. Everything is back full steam ahead. Accelerating mass vaccination program, Bali received 353,300 doses of Sinovac and AstraZeneca. That news came in Thursday, so a few days ago, and we got 250,000 doses of AstraZeneca and 85,300 doses of Sinovac. So vaccinations continue. We are on this race to see how many people we can get vaccinated by July. Are we going to open by July? Are we going to have enough people vaccinated by then? Well, take a look at the wrap-up. And the next story about vaccines. 16 million doses of Sinovac to arrive this weekend. Okay, this is this weekend, so they should be here. Secretary General of Ministry of Foreign Affairs revealed that as many as 16 million doses of Sinovac will arrive in Indonesia this weekend. Okay. He said that the Indonesian government is implementing two strategies to secure the COVID-19 vaccine supplies. And the first strategy is to establish short-term international cooperation. And the second is long-term, and it's supporting the development of national vaccines by the National Vaccine Consortium. So, okay, first one is short-term, where we're making alliances, working internationally, and the second one is we're going to be able to develop our own vaccines. Great idea, because once this pandemic is over, who knows before the next one starts. And so far, Indonesia has received 75.9 million doses. However, he noted that Indonesia faces a number of challenges in meeting the domestic supply. I had some trouble reading my handwriting there. This is due to a limited world vaccine production capacity and the increasing worldwide demand. And as I've talked about a few videos ago, problems in India. They need all the vaccine they have there, so they're not distributing the vaccine. Okay, so more vaccine, good news for us. And over 23 million Indonesians vaccinated. Coordinating Minister for Economic Affairs, Erlangga Hartarto, said that up to 23.3 million people have received shots as of May 19th, about 4 days ago. 13.9 million received the first one, and 9.3 have been completely vaccinated. Priorities have been healthcare workers, workers in public service, and the elderly. The government has greenlit private sector companies to participate in the Gotong Royong vaccination program, which is for employers of private firms. And there are 25,000 companies with 10 million workers signed up for this program. So that's great, because we're in Bali, we are much farther ahead of the rest of the country in terms of getting vaccinated. Okay, another vaccine story. Novavax Pfizer vaccines to arrive in Indonesia in July. The Health Ministry said Novavax and Pfizer vaccines will arrive in July 2021, 4 million Novavax, 5 million Pfizer. The Health Ministry will prioritize the use of the Novavax and Pfizer for the third phase of the government's vaccination program, targeting the elderly, public service workers, and vulnerable groups. And in this third phase, the government is trying to vaccinate 140 million people. So the 9 million here is not going to cover that, but it will help. The first group of people are those that live in areas with high numbers of COVID-19 cases, or areas that have continuously rising numbers with no sign of decline. The second group, people vulnerable from economic and social aspects, such as the poor, people with disabilities, or people with mental disorders. And the third are the elderly. The vaccines will be imported from the U.S. and will not be used in the private vaccination program I just talked about, called Gotong Royong. Badung police hold raids to prevent new clusters. Okay, so the end of Lebaran, people are going back, either from Bali to Java, and Java to Bali, so there's a lot of movement going on here. And anticipating the backflow from Lebaran, the Badung police have been actively working to maintain security and public order. This includes raids in the Mengwi terminal down the south. The head of the Badung police headquarters said that this is done in order to remind and discipline the public regarding the implementation of safety and health protocols after the completion of Lebaran. And you know, I've been talking about this now for weeks, maybe a month. Worried about we were worried about a spike in cases after Lebaran. The people were going to do mudik one way or the other, and they did. How many? I don't know. I haven't seen any numbers. So passengers were checked during this raid, and 124 vehicles were checked, and there were no positive results. If there had been a positive result, they would have been turned back. If people showed up and they did not have a rapid test result with them, they were given one on the spot, and if it was negative, they were free to go on their way. And if not, yeah, they were not free to go anywhere. They had to go home. And so the boys in brown are out protecting us and making sure that people coming and going have some proof that they're not carrying the virus. That's good news for all of us. Okay, so we've looked at vaccines and the numbers. What's happening around the island? Tabanan chooses restrictions rather than closure, even though they're in a red zone. So the Tabanan Regency officers have refused to close their tourism attractions despite surging cases in the area. The head of the Tabanan Tourism Agency has confirmed that the central government suggested that they close the tourist attractions after the area was declared a red zone. He said he had heard the suggestion, but he was given no official letter ordering him to do it, so he's not going to do it. So Pak Sukanada said he was taking a situational approach to handling this, and in order to protect the local economy. We prefer to limit their capacity by 50% while operating. Some tourist attractions, like Badung Botanical Garden, have implemented this policy long before we told them to do so. He added that closing the attractions would not prevent people from coming there during the holiday season. So this was a news report from early in this, since last week. He continued, I don't think it would be effective to prevent people from traveling as they might go somewhere else. In Bali anyway, that's not considered a red zone, and it could create a crowd there as well. So I guess this is the best decision for us here. And previously, President Jokowi had instructed all red zones and orange zones to close tourist attractions in order to reduce COVID-19 transmissions, but apparently not going to happen in Tabanan. I haven't heard any update on this story since I read this. This was back on Tuesday. So who knows? Maybe they have changed their mind. Although I did hear that the market was open, so maybe they haven't changed their mind. And where would we be without the bad foreigner section? And you know, just until last night, I thought, there's no bad foreigner reports. That's so great. Maybe people are getting the message. Well, and in comes this one, and this is one of the stranger ones. Okay, a British couple arrested for fleeing from the required 5-day quarantine. Okay, 2 British citizens were arrested at by the Sukarno Hatta Airport Police Unit this past Wednesday, a few days ago, because they fled from their quarantine obligations when they were about to be escorted to their quarantine hotel by a taxi. They were apprehended in the Bogor area, so they took off. And what about this? So they they go through all the procedures when they arrive, and they get in a taxi, and they're going to go to the quarantine. But they get in an argument with the driver because they don't have any money. And so they ask the driver to take them to somewhere they have to go to the toilet. They weren't feeling well. And so they don't have any money to pay the driver or pay the hotel, the quarantine. And they have this argument, so they take off out and they leave their bags, their 3 bags, in the taxi, and they're gone. So the taxi driver goes and reports them, of course. And so there's a fine for this of 1 year in prison or 100 million rupiah fine. So they can't pay for their hotel. Now, let's continue on with this. So they took off, right? And so this was on. They arrived on the 7th. And they were apprehended on the 19th. So for 12 days, now supposedly they don't have any money. 12 days they moved around in Java. They started out in Jakarta at the airport, and they ended up in Bogor. And they were staying in hotels and homestays. I don't know, how were they paying for that if they didn't have any money? Okay, not clear from the story. So they were on the run for 12 days before they were finally apprehended, and so they're subject to this fine, but they don't have any money, and they also don't have any money to go back because they're being deported and blacklisted. They don't have any money to pay for their airfare to go back. Now. The sponsor is responsible for this, is responsible for them. Now, a lot of people have been coming in on business visas. Okay, so it's clear that some of these people, I don't know how many because I don't know these people that are coming in, some of them have no business here. They're just here, and so the qualifications for getting a business visa have been certainly loosened up since the virus started. They were much stricter in the past. So somehow they got in. They didn't have any money, supposedly. And so whoever is their sponsor is on the hook for this 100 million rupiah fine or paying for their deportation cost, according to the head of airport immigration. And so in addition to, so they're going to be deported and blacklisted, and according to the police chief, the couple were said that they did not believe in COVID-19, they didn't think it was real, and that they were not cooperative and they spoke unnecessarily. Okay, so when I first read that sentence, I thought they spoke unnecessarily. What does that mean? The police chief said, he said various things. He claims he does not believe in pandemics, and he claims that he can talk to angels. Yes, that's right. He said he can talk to angels. So, yeah, and I didn't check their social media, but some people have. And so this guy, I don't know, he thinks he's Merlin or something. There's I think a photo here. He's got a big long beard. Maybe that's a Merlin beard. I don't know. You know, we get the crackpots that come in here. Somebody's got to be doing some scanning of what are these agencies that are sponsoring people. Are they doing any checks on any of these people? We're getting wackos coming in here. Okay, so, well, that's a fun way to end this, and it's the only crazy foreigner thing that I've got this week. Thank goodness. So maybe things are going to look up. Okay, so that's it. What do we got then? We got low numbers. So we've had low numbers for the last week. Good news. You can take a look over at the graphs and the charts, and yeah, you see that dip, 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 dip. Let's hope it keeps going that way. Are we going to open in June? 8 days? I'd say zero. Zero chance that that's going to happen. Are we going to open in July? It's pretty iffy at this point. What about August? I don't know. The vaccinations are ongoing. It's really a push. This is like a race to get everybody vaccinated before July. Is that going to happen? The task force in Buleleng confirmed that they made their target. I talked about this a week or two ago. That they hit their target, that they got rid of all the vaccine that they had, and they got everybody vaccinated that they wanted to. So that's good news, and reports coming in from around the island, and vaccinations still going on. Are we going to reach 70% before July? Yeah, I don't know. We're getting vaccine in, as I've talked about earlier in the video. So have we got enough to vaccinate everybody? Yeah, possibly. I think the government's going to make sure that we can get as many people vaccinated as possible. So what do I think? We've got the green corridor, and there's vaccinations, and people are talking about quarantines, and there's a rumor about adding time on quarantines, which I'm not going to go into right now because it's still gone nowhere. There is a letter that's gone to the government about increasing quarantine length, but nothing's been decided yet. And if you heard anything about has been, well, there's nothing as of right now, Sunday, that says that the quarantine length is going to be increased. People will, according to the situation as it is now, when people do get here, they are going to have to be vaccinated. So if you're planning on coming here, I would get vaccinated. And just a final word on bad foreigners. So we had that one crazy one. I was just reading on social media, right? So I'm looking at one of the Facebook Bali forums, and so a woman who frequently posts there had some pictures of some foreigners in a supermarket in Ubud, where else, not wearing masks. And she said, I told them, please put your mask on, and they said, no, we're not going to do it. And the staff there asked them, and they said, no. The staff should have just thrown them out. So she said, I'm going to take your photos and put them on Facebook. And they said, go ahead, fine. Who cares? She said, they're Russians, of course. And then everybody said, of course, they're Russians. So, yeah, there's still, things have calmed down in terms of outrageous stunts, at least this week. But still people, misbehaving. And I just don't get it. Come on, everybody wants to open up. And this is also responsibility of the stores. Stores I go into say no mask, no service. So if you see somebody in with a mask, without a mask, they should throw them out. Okay, so that's it for this week. Good news about the numbers, and weather is beautiful. I keep looking. I think this last section here, I'm kind of looking off because it is so lovely today. So lovely. Guys are out fishing. The sky is blue. There's this light breeze. You can hear the birds, which I think are up on my roof in the garden. So yeah, it's lovely. I hope you get here. So wherever you are, stay safe. If you're planning on coming to Bali, I wouldn't count on getting here before August. You might want to book tickets for July, but I don't know. I just don't know. It's hard to say. If you're coming in December, that sounds like a good bet. Okay, so stay safe. If you're here in Bali, follow protocols, wear a mask when you're supposed to. Don't give people a hard time. Indonesians don't like confrontations. Wear a mask when you're in somebody's store. Okay, be kind to someone today. Thanks for viewing, and I'll see you next time.